Hello and welcome to the channel. As you can see, we've been experimenting more with our cylindrical rotating drill large ship here. And as you can see, we've had a bit of a problem with it recently. Go ahead and quick show you the new drill head design. Basically this maximizes the amount of time we have a drill on each segment of rock that we're drilling through. And we also went ahead and reduced the RPMs on the rotor. We reduced it down to 1. Basically the reason for that is that the actual drills, they basically have no effect if you're going too fast. So we reduced it down to 1. That gives enough time for the drill to actually have time to cut away a segment of rock before it gets swept away to another point of contact. So we had the new drill head operating on there. Of course we did take damage, as you can see. That was actually more of a user error than design error. We increased the number of collectors here, and this has worked perfectly to collect all of our rocks. Of course, we have a bit more trouble getting everything into the forward area because of the lack of space for it now. Of course, I can strip that armor blocks away and just let it go straight in. That would give it a bit more space, but I really like the aesthetics of having the armor block around the drill head. Alright, another thing you'll notice is we've changed the airlocks. So what I have it doing is we set it to a -1G on the gravity generator for pretty much flight and anytime you're not actually drilling. And that, of course, I did not set it this time, so let me go ahead and change that so you can see why. Okay, so saying we're not drilling, our -1G allows us to walk around here. And of course we go inside and we can walk around here perfectly as well. Basically by flipping everything over this way, it just really works a lot better to allow you to navigate without having to worry about the extra obstacles. And it kind of makes it more, I guess you could say, space-like in that regards. And of course, once you're actually in the ship, you would change it back to the positive, which you can set those up on the G menu, as you can see on this seat here. Increasing and decreasing. See, not much else has changed with the design, but the gist of that is that while you're mining, everything gets pulled into the collectors. Of course, if you get off or if you're just walking around, you'll see that, of course, you're on the wrong side to make use of the doors. Which is fine, because you're not really meant to walk around in this particular ship. When the gravity is set to the proper direction, rather, I guess you could say, and you're actually mining. So, beyond that, that's pretty much the changes we've made here. As far as the damage you saw on the actual drill, go back out to that. So I said that was more or less user error. I was testing a few things out, particularly what I like to do with the smaller mining craft, the basic and intermediate designs that I go with, is kind of set it to coast in anywhere up to 1 meter per second or less than, and it just lets it bore a hole cleanly through all the way. So we tried about 0.4 meters per second on this one, and it worked fine. Let's see, where's our rock? Here we are. It worked fine for the most part, but then at some point, I don't know if we hit a pocket or what. Might have actually hit a pocket now that I look at this here. Basically, part of the drill snagged, and the rotor inverted to about a 30-degree angle, and just popped that section off and sent the ship flying up. Now, since then, we've also apparently got something going on inside the ship that was damaged from the torque from the rotor getting snapped. Well, the rotor didn't actually snap, but the rotor getting bent and then the hung section getting snapped off, because every 5 minutes or so I've had another minor explosion inside the ship, and the ship has quite literally bucked in different directions. First it bucked its tail down about 40 degrees, and then it went to the, well, I guess you could call this the left from this perspective, about 15, 20 meters. It's interesting to see how the damage effects go straight down, especially when it's not a straight column of conveyor blocks here. It actually hooks up and around in all four directions around the spherical generator, which is directly behind this. But as far as the rotor drill itself, this is pretty much the gist of what you want to go with. That maximizes the amount of time you have drills on each segment of rock. And of course, reducing the RPMs is definitely recommended, not just to help you correct when you do get snags like we had here, but also to allow the drills time to pull those segments of rock apart and actually shuffle them through. Now, with our total of 8 large cargo containers, there is plenty of space in this thing, so we could chew through several of these asteroids and not have to worry about any space. We could probably take most of this larger segment here, the larger asteroid rather, apart, and that would fill us up. So maybe 2, 3, or at most 4 of these drill ships will be used to gather all the resources in that giant asteroid there. Of course, we'll come up with a few other designs. I'll go ahead and delete it for now, and we'll give you a few more examples of other advanced mining craft designs as we go forward. And well, I hope that was helpful and kept up to date on our testing for today for that particular ship. And as always, have a good day.